Good morning, traders. Can you hear me and see my screen? This is Bruce at Blocks Pro. If you can just say yes or hand up in the room there. All right, thank you, Kelly. Okay, let's go. Yep. Hi, Guido. Welcome back. And all right, let's get going here. So let's see. For those of you reaching out to you, and I encourage you, if you have not done so already, to visit bookmap.com and at least register for and download the free version, or go ahead and take the plunge with the risk-free real-time version, and then that way you can follow along with us during these webinars. Let's take a look at the fundamentals, just kind of briefly touch on those, and then we'll get into some of the technicals on the higher time frames, and then we will start to drill down into lower time frames and then start to look at specific levels, and then go to BookMap and really drill down into the order flow at those specific levels and what's going on with current price. Taking a look here, earlier today we had the ISM manufacturing PMI number out of the US, and came in at less than expected at 52.7 versus 53.5. So we're off already to the negative side, and we can see that reflected in price action. It's kind of weird in a sense that some of these numbers, we go back and forth, and it's never really clear, that what sort of mode are we in here with the Fed raising rates? So is bad data actually, good for price, or is it the opposite, where good data is actually good for price? So anyway, at the moment we are starting to sell off, and taking a look at the daily chart on the S&P E-mini. You can see that a wick up here from Friday, and then you can see that we opened below the close, tested up higher, and this is the overnight area here, and then during the cash open, we have continued on down to the downside here. Looks like the low so far of the day is around this 89.50. And a few different lines, in between here, just kind of lows of the day from, previous days here. And let's drill into the 15-minute chart and see what we can get there. Okay, so let me center this a little bit, get a little more interesting here. Okay. All right. So here's that wick that we were looking at from Friday, and then you can see the overnight here. Quick move up, but then right back down. Okay. So and then the cash session here, 9:30 begins right at this moment, and you can see the sell-off. Okay, and then rise back up into one of this little cluster here, as you can see, but price is being sustained lower. So that does seem to be the case right now. Let me show a little more current price, and so it looks like this little cluster here, we are accepting below that, and we are starting to see some wicks though, and some buying come in as well. So this is the area want to take a look at here, and what the order flow looks like at this 2090 level. And then also up here, I'm interested in taking a look at this area here at 96.50 or so, and then looking at 2100, and then I also have another area up here at 2102.50 or so. Those are the levels, and let's take a look at BookMap. And what does it tell us? So let's blow that up. All right. Okay. So look at the thick liquidity down here, and yeah, as we can see, very aggressive. Pressing price up here. So they're definitely supporting it underneath with heavier liquidity provided on the bid, and a nice little cluster of volume down here going into this 2090 area, and pretty thick. Well, I'm sorry, it's not so thick, but we're up in the 1,000 range throughout. So there is a lot of liquidity here, and it's a couple points deep. That's what I mean by the thickness. But the amount of orders is it's not 1,500 that we're looking at here. We're looking at 1,000, and yeah, they're continue to get aggressive up underneath, and keep on providing liquidity underneath these little swings here. As you can see, traders want to get involved. It's moving price upwards, and it's looking like it wants to fill this 96 area to begin with. And then we're looking at this 97.50 area, but it looks like this guy has jumped out of the book. And it looks like to me he's actually became more aggressive and wants to sell at a lower price. Okay, so that's what I see at the moment. And yeah, you can see that this area here, these guys looks like definitely feeling the heat. Looking to what we were looking at earlier, that this cluster here. And if we're going to sustain, we are sustaining price underneath it so far, but will that continue or not? I mean, these guys are getting aggressive, so that's the battle to watch right now. You can see that they provided a lot of liquidity under this area that returned to the scene of the crime that we see time and again. And yeah, so probably, yeah, if we look at the profile here, we can see that we got kind of, point of control area just up and through here, and that's the battle that's going on right now. All right, so it's this little point of control from that cluster we were just looking at on the higher time frame on that 15-minute chart. All right, and yeah, looking at BookMap, looks like yeah, just like I'd mentioned, definitely we got some interested buyers here, providing liquidity on the bid as price continues to go up. And then we do have some sellers here also, getting aggressive and wanting to get filled down in the 96 area when they were up at 97.50 or so. So that's the current book, and yeah, let's just open it up. And we've gone over a lot of stuff the last few weeks, and we've gone over a lot in detail. So any questions? Anyone new in the room here that has any questions that you would like to ask, then yeah, please go ahead. I like to go over these questions in detail, so you guys understand how to use this tool within your trading plan. Okay. All right. Well, one of the things we continue to go over and we continue to see is exhaustion in these markets, especially these summer markets where there's usually it just kind of there is a lack of or it's lessened liquidity, and seeing some of that right here in this area here at 95, but we're also seeing it on the downside. It just doesn't want to come and fill this 93, and you can see that this kind of darker area around here. So we just are searching for liquidity. Didn't want to take it here at 93, so it's rotating back up. Looks like finding a little bit here at 95 at the moment, where previously it did not. So little volume is trading. I do have the volume dots pretty high here. I think I'll bring it down now, and we'll see a little more action here. Okay. Yeah. Again, here's looking at this microstructure, notice this little cluster here in range, and notice the sweeping of the book and a movement up just about a point and a half or so, and then this is that new range here, and then you can see another nice sweeping of the book here, a little bit more aggressive. Okay, so that's something to note. We can see that very clearly here, and you can see that it clearly traded. We see the liquidity provided and taken. Okay, so now we're trading in this little area here. Okay, so that's a very, very typical, you know, and this is on the microstructure, but it is bullish at the moment. You know, and again, like, yeah, they continue to press here. Here we go. Let's see if we get that sweep up into this 96 and 97 area. It'd be nice to see it come up in this 97.50 and go for this little swing high here. Okay, it's got to get through 96. Looking at the slope of the book. Yep, and just no mystery there. This 96 level, you see the orders lined up here, so it's definitely tilted in that direction. Okay, looks like it's trading. Yep. Okay. So yep, this guy was filled here, 96. All right. And what is the reaction? It's pretty muted, pretty muted. Okay. Yep, filled, but then we start to see it come off a couple ticks here. Okay. Do we come back to the scene of the crime here at 95? All right. Just looking at that microstructure again that we can see so clearly. All right. See if we come back to 95 here and test this area right where we broke from. Okay, notice the book starting to get built out a little more here. Someone stepping in, 94.25. Zoom in a little closer. Okay. So scene of the crime would be, yeah, just 95 and a quarter basically. So we just hit that. Let's see what kind of reaction we get here. Do they step in and we get continuation, or are we going to rotate and this will not accept up in this area? Okay, the clues, facts that we're looking for here that visualize that are exhaustion and lack of liquidity. Okay, not providing liquidity. And we're getting that. We're getting some aggressive sell orders as well. Okay, so that starts to open up that maybe we won't accept above 95 here. Okay, we might get another rotation down, and if we do, it's going to come down to this 94.25. It'll be a point lower here. Okay, and if it does, we have a little micro swing here, looking at this 93.75 area. Okay, right here. And you can see that these guys here have already been in the book for a while, waiting for scooping up some at a discount down at 93. Okay. Okay, some exhaustion here as well. Okay, no questions. All right, so it's a pretty quiet day. We do have non-farm on Friday, so I imagine first few days of the week here are going to be kind of quiet until we get a little closer to non-farm. It being Monday. Okay, so then looking at these facts here. Here we go. So exhaustion, seeing it. We saw it here. We also noticed it right after filling 96 here, though. Some points of exhaustion, and we see sellers, and it's driving price down. Okay, and the exhaustion here is very, very clear, right? We have a lack of liquidity around this area. And price is searching to get filled. It does not find anyone willing to sell and provide liquidity on the offer, and therefore it rotates lower. Richard, let's see, apologies, you've done this before. I'm new. Well, welcome to the room, Richard. Can you share the settings for the dot size, contrast, etc.? Sure. Yeah, we can go over that. The dots. Okay, the way this works is BookMap can show you just about every single trade that takes place. Okay, this is different than a lot of other software out there. It has that ability, and in fact, we'll have a release here for another version pretty soon. Don't want to give a date out, but it's going to be soon, within a week or two, I imagine. But it has the ability to even drill down into nanoseconds. Okay, and you'll see every single shred of evidence or data that has come from the exchange. Okay, we have to go through here to filter the volume into a way of looking at it that helps us on the higher time frames, because otherwise, looking at every single trade here, this is every single trade now, one lots all the way on up, and the bigger dots, obviously it has kind of consolidated or aggregated that volume all together. And it creates a bigger dot, okay? And if you roll over this little area here, you can look down in the bottom lower left here, and you can see, if you can roll over just the center of that dot, it'll tell you, like at VWAP 396, okay, at 2095.50, right? So that's or here 425. So there's a lot of volume that took place right here, okay? What we we aggregate that together, and it filters out the noise. We don't need to see every single trade in this time frame. Okay, so the way we can do that here is you can filter it for the minimum accountable pixel volume. Okay, and the higher number, let's put in 500, for example. All right. Now, what we're looking at is an area in this zoom where price has aggregated those trades into 500 or greater. All right, so if we roll over this little area, it tells me that VWAP was actually 1100. Okay, so it has taken all those other smaller dots and has aggregated together into this one big one, and it paints it. All right, so we're getting it painted yellow. This is showing that this aggressor classification for a market buy order. All right, so, and obviously there's lots of sells in here as well, but on the aggregate, it's a buy. Okay, so that's the key to understand here. And on the aggregate, this was a buy. Okay, and it took this liquidity here at 96, right? And this makes good sense that you have a market aggressive market buy take the limit orders at 96. Okay, so this guy was filled, and you can see that afterwards, you know, he's not there in the book anymore. Okay, so yeah, his liquidity was filled, and he got his wish. All right. So that's the way to aggregate these is to put in a number. Now this is going to be different for each market and each viewpoint, okay? Because if I start to zoom in, it's going to start to strip away some of those dots. Okay, so coming up to 97 right now. All right, looks like that area is starting to get filled. Yep. Okay, it looks like yeah, we got some interesting price action here. So if I come back here and put in 1, okay, we're looking at every single trade again. Okay, and then I don't really need to see all that noise. I want it to kind of aggregate those together until I get 300 that makes up a volume dot. Okay, and it's at these specific areas where that was possible. All right. Okay. Yep. You're welcome, Richard. I mean, there's more to go over on that, to be honest. It's you know, you also have minimum accountable trade size, so you know you can put in 100 lot, and this is forcing it to look at just those trades that were 100 lots minimum or greater. All right, so you can see that there were some big sell orders here. Okay, but we don't see any of the aggressive buying. Now, the reason that we usually kind of filter this at 1, and then we will put filter in the aggregate, is because before I do that, we'll just zoom in, and I'll show you why. It's because all of these 1 lots, a lot of the algos, the way that they trade is they keep their size small, and keeping a size small and having lots of separate trades disguises their intent. Okay, instead of like if you see one big dot that's you know, that might surprise you, well, instead they'll just you know, you'll just see several smaller dots, and we can filter that out by using the volume dots here at the countable pixel size. Okay, and that's why what happens is, and we can go over. Yep, you're welcome, Richard. We can go over why this is important, okay? Because, and this is what is exclusive with BookMap, is that these areas and the way that these algo markets trade is, you know, the volume is hidden, and it trades extremely quickly, right? Way faster than blink of an eye. Blink of an eye is rather slow. What we offer, though, is the ability to look at not only, so right now in the columns, I have the chart range volume profile and the session range volume profile. In a nutshell, the chart range volume profile, this is showing the all of the this little profile and volume from this range that I have viewable. Okay, so that's the chart range. If I zoom out a little bit, you're going to see that change. If I zoom in a lot, you're going to also see that change. Okay, so it's just showing this volume here. Session volume is from the moment that I opened up BookMap. It's showing the profile and the volume. This is the traded volume that took place. Okay. Quickly, I'll just go through this. You can also format this and split it out and look at delta. Okay, so you can split out the volume like this, and at this price level here at 97, for example, I see almost, well, about, yeah, now it's over 1,000. And I can look at, oh, okay, there was more buy orders than there were sell orders here. But if you look diagonally, you would be looking at the bid and ask. You can see that there's more sell orders compared to the buy orders here. All right, so that's a way of looking at your delta. However, if I put it back to profile view, and now it's just aggregating that together. This is the number for total volume at that price level. Okay, so just over 1,000, as we mentioned. All right, so want to show that, but then that leads into the next discussion of a few other columns here. All right, and we'll insert a column. Just come down to insert column here. Okay, it adds the same column to the left here of where I came from, so another chart range volume profile. And we'll switch this over to trade counter instead of volume. Okay, and now instead of the actual number of contracts that traded, we see the actual number of trades that traded. Okay, why is that important? And the reason being is that fact we just went over about these algorithmically dominated markets. They, a lot of one lots come through, and it disguises positioning, and therefore it can be captured by looking at the number of trades that took place instead of the actual traded volume. Okay, you can also another tool we have here is looking at the quotes counter. Okay, and what this shows is the actual number of quotes that this is not traded volume. It is the liquidity provided but flashed very, very quickly, and how many times did it flash back and forth at these levels. So what we're able to capture with the quotes counter here is flurries of activity. That's what we're looking for. Okay, if you see that there's a lot of interest in a certain area, and you notice that we see, like in this area here, as it broke through 95, and then also here as it's trying to press through 97, you're starting to get a bit of a flurry of activity. We can zoom in a little closer, yeah, I mean, at the moment it's mostly in this single profile. You can see it very, very clearly here. All right, so that's a couple of different ways, especially you guys who trade more kind of from the algo side. I think you'll find some of these columns with the quotes counter and trades counter to be very, very insightful. Okay, and that's why we offer it. You want to get rid of a column, come down and just hide column, and we're back to where we were before. All right. Okay, well, we continue to creep upward, right? Looking back at that area right here, back to the scene of the crime, we saw exhaustion here. We noted that. We also noted it here and here. We fell back down into this little area here, which is would be kind of like a little point of control for probably, I would imagine, for this little cluster of activity here. And you can see the reaction. Okay, so it did not accept, and we traded up above, and it's interesting. This kind of activity, see, notice how we accept above this swing here. It's fighting it though, and we're seeing a lot more sellers come in. And how do I know that? Just look at the color of the dots. Okay, you can split out your volume. And you can look at the delta, and you can look at the exact numbers. Quick reference is I can just look at it here by the colors and the size of these dots, and I understand this is different behavior. Okay, look at the aggressive yellow dots here, okay, and here, and we're not seeing that here at 97. So this is different, right? We're also noticing that for example, this little area here where we broke from, we actually tested back inside, so that into kind of point of control. Kind of did here as well, but it was a little stronger some minutes ago. And then look at this area down here. In fact, let me go back here and take a look at it. Notice the aggressive behavior here, that we broke out and then price was sustained, and it did not even come back down into this area whatsoever. Okay, so that's pretty strong. We're seeing strong moves, and that is starting to wane, and we're starting to see that it's not the same type of behavior. Right? Now it's only breaking out by a couple of ticks, and we're seeing more selling come in, and we're also seeing the pullbacks be a little bit deeper. Okay, so these are the kinds of pieces of evidence we look for in determining, what's happening at a price level. All right, so that's people continue to ask for setups. What is going on with BookMap and what setups to look at. It's showing you all the data, and we're going over what it's showing you, and this is how to look at it, and it's up for you to determine within your trading plan at your specific levels what's going on, if you want to engage in the trade or not. But all of the data is here. It's very objective data, and therefore I don't really think, I haven't seen anything out there that shows as much transparency and clarity and objectivity than this tool. Okay, so this is how I use it. This is how we had Murad on last week, and he uses it similar ways of looking at his specific levels and then looking to the book. All right, what's going on there? What's the intent of some of the traders, and what's the order flow look like at these specific levels? Louis Borsellino, we've had him on a few times. He as well, he wants to look at the book. He wants to know the intent of these traders at these specific levels. Okay, and John Slazas as well. He has already defined very specific levels, and through his service, he's looking for levels in I don't know how many markets he covers, but then he wants to drill down. He wants to look at BookMap, and he has his own personal notes column, and let's go over that. So going over this column stuff again, let's insert another column here, okay, and we will turn this into the custom notes column. So now click on a level, right, and the notes dialog comes up, and you can put in a note like high of cash session, and let's see, let's make it yellow. Okay, let's align it to the left, and there you go. Okay, so therefore you can start to mark out your areas you're looking for specifically. You can also you can move these columns around, so you can put that over here if you like, or you can put it both. You can duplicate this column. Let's insert another column. Okay, and we'll still need to put in. We'll add a note. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so yeah, anyway, that's the flexibility we're looking at here. Kyle, when's the beta release for BookMap 4.2? Yeah, I don't know, and but it will be soon. It should be interesting stuff.
Yeah. Hey Bruce,
Yeah. Hey, Jim.
how are you?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Just dropped in for a brief moment. Caught a few minutes of your conversation here. Good stuff as always. Thank you, sir. I always appreciate it, and I know our guests do as well. Um, in regards to Kyle's question, our plans are to release 4.2 in a beta format this week. Those are tentative plans, but it's really soon, Kyle. And so hope I can again offer some deeper insight into that question for you there. Um, Bruce, if I'm not interrupting one thing, I was just caught a little bit of the conversation a while ago for some of the newer traders, and if you don't mind changing me to presenter, I'd like to share just one thought real quick, and then I'll get out of your hair.
Oh, sure, please. Yeah, let me switch it over to you. There you go.
Traders, let me know if you can see my screen okay. Just type in a yes. There we go. So one thing that traders, and I would assume that most everyone here has followed a very similar path, starting with a bar chart, maybe advancing to a candle, a few technical indicators, then all of a sudden, a lot of frustration for a long time. Well, why does the MACD crossover work in this instance versus not in another, et cetera, et cetera? Leads to a lot of questions, a lot of doubts, and really a lack of understanding at a fundamental or a very literal level, an intimate level of how the markets really operate today. And so if you can see my screen, I think one thing that I can share with you, I was watching this price action coming up here into this 97.5 area. And you can tell I'm zoomed in, and just for reference, I am using the 4.2, Kyle, so a little sneak preview here for you. But in this instance, you can see that I don't have anything filtered here. I'm looking at all trades, but I'm going into this area right here. And so what I'm actually zoomed in between each one of these vertical markers here is 1 second of time, a second of time. If you tried your hardest, the most you could possibly blink your eyes in 1 second would be twice, maybe 3 times if you're super proficient, something along those lines. And so what most people don't realize when they come from, the chart world or the ninja indicator world, that this tool is really an HFT tool. And what I mean is that it was designed by and for HFT traders. Okay, so it's really not just an indicator, and those that are looking for indicators, probably not the tool for you. Those of you that are looking for the deepest insight into the limit order book available, boy, this is the tool for you. Okay, now, Bruce was explaining some of the columns earlier, and so I've got mine broken down here. So you can see here at 97.25, 97.5. And I have just very simple numbers, and I have a chart range trade count and a chart range volume profile. Okay, and so as I step forward here, all of a sudden you can see within just a very instantaneous amount of time, 107 trades, 331 contracts, 34 more trades, 88 contracts. But what's interesting here is that if we actually zoom in and we keep zooming in, BookMap's recording every single discrete event for you, okay? So as we come back here and we look through here, we can now walk forward and see 70 trades took place in, looks like about, I'm going to guess, maybe 20 microseconds, not milliseconds, but microseconds, because between here and here it is, again, 30 milliseconds. 1,000,000 microseconds to a second, 1,000 milliseconds to a second. Okay, so HFT, just so you can get your head around what I'm saying, HFT operates with 1,000,000 data points per second. Okay, so even at this high granular level of resolution, and as I continue to zoom in here, you'll notice that what was just a single dot now starts to break out into a whole flurry of trades. a whole flurry of trades. Okay, now we're down at the microsecond level, and if I just keep zooming and I just keep zooming, I get to a point to where I can't even at a micro nanosecond resolution. I have to aggregate that data because the number of trades that took place. So here is one trade for 41 contracts that took place there. As I zoom back out in time, now I start to see all the other trades that start to show up here. And so you can see that what we see as a dot, out here on this time frame, right? We're actually monitoring, recording, and displaying, or have the ability to display the things that you cannot even see with your eyes. Okay, and I'll give you another great example of that. After this little flurry of activity for so many, milliseconds here, notice what we see here as just one step down with a flurry of trading activity. But the color is mixed. The color is mixed because it was both the offer and the bid, while in this zoom level it took place. But if I actually break this down even further and go into it at even a more micro level, now you can see that, here was when it was trading on the bid, here's when it was trading on the offer, here's where it's trading on the bid, here's where it was trading on the offer. And you can just come and look at one of these little flurries right here and just look at the number of trades that took place there. So we're at 22 now, and here we're at 30. So 10 trades took place in, what we'll call it 50 microseconds. Okay. So, again, I hope I'm not adding any confusion, but BookMap is very smart. When you zoom out, it consolidates all that information for you. Now I'm looking at 1 minute intervals, and I can look up here and see all that took place with just a single hover and just looking at the size and the coloration of the dots there. Okay. And so, there really is nothing else out there, on another platform. If it's on a charting platform and, looks like a heat map, or, it still doesn't have the ability to break it down for you like this. And so, when you get into asking those questions, well, what am I supposed to do with the hard right edge? And those are questions your trading plan needs to answer. But if any of those decisions are based on order flow, and I'm not talking what other people call order flow, which is just probably should be labeled traded volume or executed volume flow, because if they're just looking at what's traded, just at the volume, you're only looking at 3 to 5% of the messages and the information that HFT is consuming, 1 million of those types of data points every second. So again, great stuff, So let me again want to come back and just make sure that everyone understands, at maybe a little more visceral level, the power of the tool that you have here. And if you've been trading off of, 5-minute charts or 2-minute candles or, 10-tick Rinkos or whatever your preference is, this is not that view. This is a view that goes way deeper down that rabbit hole for you. Okay. And so anyway, I just heard the conversation earlier, Bruce, and just thought that hopefully maybe I added a little value to the scenario there.
Oh no, that's exactly what I wanted to do, but the 4.2 allows that detail like that, and wonderful stuff. Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Richard, I haven't found anything else for a retail client that allows you this level of granularity using your data feed, whatever your data feed may be. I'm sure if you're willing to pay for specific feeds from HFT providers, et cetera, et cetera. And we have several HFT, provider partners for that part of our business. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. You'll need to update or upgrade to what we call a quant version, which really isn't available for public release at this point, but we're planning on making that available for public release as well. Yeah, I think for most people this is way more than you're normally going to be able to see. And so anyway, I'll turn it back to you. I saw a couple questions. Somebody says something about their mouse, middle click. Go into your mouse settings and make sure that your middle click is not set by default to some other function like a scroll to pages or something along those lines. I know I had a Logitech mouse, a wireless mouse, that I was getting weird behavior out of. It just wouldn't. I'd middle click and it wasn't there. I had to go into the mouse settings directly and update those for the middle or the scroll wheel, depressing scroll wheel, click of scroll wheel to be actually a middle click action. And then one more question I see, and then I'll turn it over to you, Bruce. Mike asks, thanks, very helpful. What's your background? I'm curious. Mike, I've just, I've been a trader since, 95 or so. LFT, HFT, consult and advise in the industry to a lot of different firms and different folks. And so a staunch and avid supporter of my BookMap brethren and my BookMap team here. And so really, really good stuff.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna bow out.
Okay, no, thanks, Jim. That was great.
Thanks, folks.
Just what we needed. So let me grab the presentation here. Okay. All right. Okay. So Jim is a very, very experienced trader, and he knows these markets extremely well. And the HFT environment he knows extremely well. Look at here's that exhaustion we're looking for. We see traded volume up here, and we see a lack of volume here. Nice rotation back down to 96. So look for these kinds of shreds of evidence here. Right, that's what we go over, and one of the things that a BookMap is really, really good at showing. What I want to cover, though, with looking at such a granular level within the order flow, you might think to yourself, well, I'll never, ever use that, or I'll never go down in that area. And, well, you can if you want, but we have these other professional traders using the product, and they just like the product. They just want to use the product, and we're lucky enough to have them come on and go over how they use the product within their trading scheme. And they're not looking at nanoseconds and making decisions like that. And in fact, John Slazas, the last time he was on, he was looking at even monthly charts. Okay, so very high time frame, or I'm sorry, a low time frame, like looking at the much bigger picture, and he wants to know what's happening at the levels once they are approached and hit, and how they trade, how price is accepted, and that's what BookMap can show you. Okay, so these markets are all fractal. It happens on a very small, granular level, and that can be extrapolated out to the bigger areas and the bigger levels. Okay, so looking at if we just zoom out and we look at the day already, we noticed it early on. The aggressive, all of these guys, thick area, or mentioned that it's a deep area here, and look at how they were pressing price up, and we are also noticing that structure of sweeping of the book, accepting at a new level, and then also another sweeping of the book, accepting at that level. But we've also noticed it starting to wane up in these areas here. Okay, so you know, this was just all from going over what we saw in the order flow and what it was telling us, and just, you know, putting these pieces together. I think I can't recall now if we had 97. Yeah, this was the area, you know, looking at the swing at 96.50 or so. Okay, so we came up a little bit higher, actually went to the little point of control of this area, and now we're starting to reject. Okay, so it's starting to eat into it. We did not accept. We noticed earlier in the session we accepted lower, and now that picture, you know, is well, we're still accepting lower. The point of control is the battle here, but and it needs to overtake that, and then it will swing up to the this 2100. What was I going over here? The point of control has tested, and we can see the reaction right now. Okay, and that's what we're looking at here, and that's how to look at you know, these pieces of evidence here that we saw in the order flow within the bigger levels. All right. So that's how I like to use it, and you know, we already had these levels predetermined, where our homework was already done, right? And that's how a lot of these professional traders are using it as well. All right. Okay, a few more questions here, and then I think we'll call it a day, and then we'll yeah, just you know, gear up again for tomorrow. A few questions here. Let's see. Apart from Murad, are there any other educators using BookMap? Yeah, there are, Richard. We've had them on as well. We've had Louis Borsellino. I don't know if you know him. And one of the biggest and best pit traders of all time for the big contract, S&P. Yeah. So yeah, he's quite a character, and quite a guy. So I can't even imagine the amount that he was trading. It's just mind-boggling. And John Slazas as well. He is not an educator. Yeah, he does provide a service. He's a market technician, and you know, he looks at very specific levels. And the way Jim has described that is that he would look on the floor, and you would see the you know, the buy and sell you know, tickets, but you would also see some of John Slazas's numbers and levels. So he's been doing this a long time, and you know, he's he's offering professional grade you know, levels of that have been tested over decades, basically. All right, so those are the other two that we've had on, and there's no sort of you know, exchange or anything. There's no money being paid back and forth. They just like the product. We like them, and it's nice to have them come on and present. Okay. Yeah, and of course Murad, he was excellent just last week. That was wonderful stuff. Okay. That by the way, that video is up on the website. Okay, let me. I'll just briefly show that, and then we'll wrap it up here. Hold on just a minute here. Okay. All right. For those of you who are new, you know, this is once you sign into the members area, then you get these tabs here. Looking at getting around BookMap, just familiarizing yourself here with some of the basics. There's some pretty short videos, quick videos, and then getting to the educational area, we usually do a snippet a day or so, and then you'll find the archived BookMap live events here. Okay, and this is the one here from the 29th of July with Futures Trader 71 Murad. Okay. Does John Slazas work for Wells Fargo? I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. No, and no, he doesn't, as far as I know. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's see here. A few new guys in the room, and I just want to welcome you, Richard being one of them there, and I encourage you guys to go take a look at bookmap.com and go ahead and give it a try. Please note that the $4.99 lifetime option is risk-free with our no questions asked refund policy. I suggest you try it. You might like it. And then that way you can see bookmap with your charts and your symbols and your setups in real time. And that's the key, is to be able to, for you to start looking at this and assessing how you're going to be able to use it. All right. You can find that information here under the pricing and just go to, whoops, let me try that again. Okay. Yeah, here, okay. And this is where you can find the free version, the trial version. I think, what is it, 14 days, I think you get it for. And then the add-ons here as well. So if you want to take a look at some of the add-ons, and we'll go over the add-ons maybe tomorrow for those of you who aren't familiar with it. Okay.
You know, one thing along those lines, if somebody does take the plunge and would like to do the trial, you know, if you need access to data during that trial, you know, we do partner with a lot of great people in the industry to help you with that, S5 being one. And so just reach out, let us know. We can get you a link to get set up there as well. And if you're an S5 client, make sure you use their special link so that you can take advantage of any special opportunities that they may have with us. Great stuff as always, Bruce.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. And we'll go over some other things, you know, tomorrow. We also, you know, I keep on threatening to do this here, but we've only gone over a little bit. We always come back to current price and other things. There's a very nice educational guide here. All right. It's underneath in the members area here under education. You'll find it here, and this is that high frequency trading guide that we put together. It is a nice kind of introduction to understanding how these markets trade today, and this dovetails very nicely with BookMap, okay, and understanding order flow, and then understanding how to utilize that information by using the tool here. All right, so anyway, we'll look at maybe a few of the different things that we went over. I kind of went over one earlier about the sweeping of the book, returning back to where we came from, and then we've seen the reaction if price is accepting higher from these in this microstructural, you know, these microstructural levels. All right, okay, guys. Well, let's call it a day, and we'll catch up tomorrow. All right, thanks for coming. Bye bye.